The Minnesota Vikings that we know and love have caught a massive break this season, and I don't think anyone is talking about it enough. This take is presented by Hokeland Farm. Contact Hokeland Farm and get the best rotationally grazed 100% grass-fed beef. This beef is sold at quarters and halves, and they have custom sample packs so you can try before you buy. My wife and I have some beef from Hokeland Farm that's 100% grass-fed, and my oh my, we got one of those chuck roasts. We put it in one of our crock pots, and it was so soft, so moist, so delicious. Had steak and eggs the other day. Oh my goodness. Some sirloin steaks, T-bone steaks. They've got it all. So contact Hokeland Farm and get 20% off your first order by mentioning the Minnesota Tim podcast. This is a deal you need to take advantage of. A truck roast at Walmart, last time I checked, was $7.15. This chuck roast per pound was $4.15. $7.50 per pound at Walmart or $4.15 per pound at Hokeland Farm. Contact them today, 952-491-1541. 20% off when you tell them about the Minnesota Tim podcast. Okay, so what is not being talked about enough? It's this. The Minnesota Vikings bye week came at the perfect time for the Minnesota Vikings. And let me explain why. The reason why is because of how the season has gone this far. The Minnesota Vikings are 5-0. And after their fifth victory, they are really starting to stutter. They're really starting to get banged up. They're really starting to slow down offensively. Defensively, they've been impressive all season long. But in order to remain impressive for the rest of the season, I think right now is a big-time break for the Minnesota Vikings defense because there has been so much pressure on them throughout the last few weeks. Against the Green Bay Packers, they had to deal with a lot of pressure with that comeback. Against the Jets, they had to deal with a lot of pressure because the Minnesota Vikings offense wasn't performing to the level that they were performing in the first 4 weeks of the season. They need a break. They need to get rejuvenated and re-energized and fully healthy. And I'm not even talking about the offense yet. You think about Justin Jefferson, who was injured a few weeks ago, battled through it and played. I'm sure he's not 100%. You think about Aaron Jones, who's week to week with a hip injury. He's clearly not anywhere close to 100%. Hopefully he's back by Detroit. TJ Hawkinson, he's going to be back maybe by Detroit, but it seems most likely at least back by the Rams game. Sam Darnold, the injury received a couple weeks ago in their home game was against the Houston Texans. When everybody was holding, that wasn't the Texans because they blew them out. Who was that against? Is that against the Niners? It doesn't matter. When every single Minnesota Vikings fan was holding their breath because Sam Darnold was down on the field. Well, then he gets rolled up again against Green Bay. He takes a shot to the ribs against New York. So that's 3 games that Sam Darnold has been so close to a major injury, but it doesn't mean he's not injured. He's fighting through it. He's playing through it. He needs a break. He needs rest. He needs to get 100% healthy again, or at least close to it. So a big break for the Minnesota Vikings this season is that their bye week isn't in week 10 or week 11. It's in week 6. And key players offensively are injured. And they need them back in the lineup in order to continue the success that they're having. And defensively, so many games this season, the defense has been asked to perform at a high level. And a big part of the offensive success that the Minnesota Vikings have had this year is because of how amazing and sensational, incredible unstoppable that this Minnesota Vikings defense has been. So we can make no mistake about it. This is a big break for the Minnesota Vikings to have a bye week before a massive divisional game against the 3-1 Detroit Lions right now. Could be 3-2, could be 4-1 following their game at Dallas against the Cowboys. So to have this break ahead of the best divisional opponent the Minnesota Vikings will face this season is huge. Not to even mention that the offense was stuttering against the Jets. The offense was not as pure and as crisp. Sam Darnold was missing passes. Ed Ingram has missed so many blocks this season, which gives Dalton Reisner another chance, another week to get healthy, to replace Ed Ingram if he needs to. So this is a big break for the Minnesota Vikings, and we don't need to apologize for it because luck is a big part of NFL success, is a big part of winning championships. You think about championships every year, and every team gets luck, has fortunate breaks, has things bounce their way on their way to a Super Bowl. So this could be one of those things where the Minnesota Vikings take advantage of a perfectly timed bye week to get healthy and to make another run in the second half of the season. So that's my take on today.